After blowing up the LA music scene and joining Billy Preston's God Squad, this duo caught the eye of Quincy Jones, the man who's known to make stars. The two biological brothers made up the classic funk R&B duo. The centerpiece of today's video is all about the brothers Johnson. Now before we start, let's be sure to leave a like on the video, subscribe to the channel, and push that notification bell to be sure you won't miss out on any more content. Now, without further ado, let's cue that intro. This story begins with George Lightning Licks Johnson, a composer, guitarist, and vocalist, born on May 17, 1953, and Louis Thunder Thumbs Johnson, a composer, bassist, and vocalist, born on April 13, 1955. Los Angeles, California is where they were both born. At the ages of 3 and 5 respectively, the brothers were first exposed to the guitar. They had one older brother, Tommy, who was born on May 12, 1951. Joseph Johnson, their father, worked as an engine builder for North American Aviation. Unfortunately, there is no information about their mother accessible as of this recording. When they were Jordan High School students in 1967, the group was known as the Johnson 3+1 and featured guitarist Alex Weir, their cousin. The band began by performing at high school proms. The quartet gained momentum, and in 1971, George and Louis were well known and embarked on a European tour with Billy Preston Band. By 1973, the two brothers were writing and playing music together, and they have written 2 songs just for Preston with Music in My Life and The Kids in Me. As a result, the two eventually wrote over 250 songs while touring. Quincy Jones hired them to play on his album Mellow Madness and produced 4 of their songs, including Is It Love That We're Missing and Just a Taste of Me. After leading them on a tour of Japan, Jones co-produced their debut album with George and Louis, Look Out for Number 1, which was released in 1976 and peaked at number 9 on the R&B charts. The brothers signed to Jones A&M Records. That album included 2 songs that reached number 1 on the R&B soul charts. 2 of the songs from that album peaked at number 1 on the R&B soul charts. Their biggest song, I'll Be Good to You, peaked at number 3 on the Billboard Hot 100 and sold over 1 million copies. Of the second song, Get the Funk Out My Face, peaked at number 4 on the R&B charts and stayed on the chart for 8 weeks. With I'll Be Good to You, they achieved the number 1 R&B and a number 3 pop hit, Strawberry Letter 23. And Stomp were their respective R&B chart toppers in 1977 and 1980. They also maintained a steady hit presence with songs like Get the Funk Out My Face and Running for Your Lovin'. In 1989, Jones reworked I'll Be Good to You for his Back on the Block album that features Ray Charles and Chaka Khan. Right on Time, the brothers' next album, peaked at number 13 on the Billboard Hot 200 in 1977. It retained the number 1 R&B place for 3 weeks, thereby making it reach number 13 on the pop charts and sold over 1 million copies. The brothers earned platinum records for Look Out for Number 1 and Right on Time. Jones produced both of the brothers' first 2 albums, along with their 3rd and 4th albums. The album Blam peaked at number 7 on the Billboard 200. It also reached number 1 on the R&B and soul chart. Their 1978 single, Stomp, peaked at number 7. In that year, they were the recipients of a Grammy Award for Best R&B Instrumental Performance. Quincy Jones also produced the group's 4th album, Light Up the Night. This album reached number 5 on the Billboard 200 and peaked at number 46 on the top 100 LPs of 1980 list in Rolling Stone. The brothers also provided the musical underpinnings for Michael Jackson's 1979 album Off the Wall. In 1981, the brothers Johnson toured with Quincy Jones at Buddha Hall in Tokyo. The following year, 1982, the brothers went their separate ways due to creative differences. Louis Johnson recorded a gospel music album in 1981 with his own group Passage, which included his then wife Valerie Johnson and former Brothers Johnson percussionist and singer Richard Heath. He played bass on Michael Jackson's Thriller. In 1985, he recorded a single, Kinky, on Capitol Records that appears on his Evil Lovolution album, which was exclusively released in Europe that year. Following that, Louis recorded 3 instructional videotapes for the Starlix Video Distribution Company. Sharing his bass playing techniques, he subsequently settled down to enjoy family life with his wife and kid, but by 1988, his then manager Diane Tarrant pushed him into going back into the recording studio. He started his Bass Academy during the 1990s and gave workshop clinics via his own website. In 1985, George Johnson's single, Back Against the Wall, was released on Quincy Jones' own Q West label. A complete album which was recorded but unreleased. In addition, George contributed guitar work to Steve Arrington's 1985 album, Dancing in the Key of Life, and provided improvised vocals for the Jeff Lorber Perfusion song Think Back and Remember from the Galaxian album, which was published by Arista Records in 1981. The brothers briefly got back together in 1984 to release the album, Out of Control, which was produced by Leon Silvers. The album did equal their past success, but got them another R&B hit with You Keep Coming Back in 1984. They teamed up again in 1988 to record the album Kickin', the title track of which, Kick It to the Curb, was a collaboration with their then neighbor Irene Cara. Although Kick It to the Curb became a minor hit, the album's success was even more limited. Between the two albums, both George and Louis released their aforementioned solo material and also appeared on Street Shadows, an album by keyboardist and arranger David Diggs. Louis performed a duo concert with a percussionist at Maryland's Poetry and Motion One Festival in 2006. In late 2007, George played with his own band at a Detroit festival under the name Sir Nose. George currently performs with a unique band formed by Michael Henderson, which includes Adina Howard, Terrell, and Ray Parker Jr., and others. Also during this time, the band song Tomorrow was recorded with vocals by Tevin Campbell. With the brothers' brief appearance in Japan around 1994 and George's guest appearance at a Graham Central Station concert in Japan. The duo launched an expanded US tour in 2002 which got positive wide exposure. It was visited by many fans and various artists in the entertainment business. Overall, the brothers Johnson produced 10 albums, 4 of which went certified platinum and a Grammy to their name. In 2000, the brothers were inducted into the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame. On May 21st, 2015, Louis Thunder Thumbs Johnson passed away at his home at the age of 60. Now, before we go, I have a question for you all. What is your favorite song from the brothers Johnson?